and the state of Maryland is in the bag. So a few miles in today, just a little update on what's happened here the last couple of days after I came down out of Maryland into Pennsylvania, to get my rest after, feeling achy and just having some symptoms of not doing too well, nausea. If you've been following me for a while, because it's happened before, like around Daleville. I have some ongoing digestive issues that every once in a while flares up, and not much I can do about it when it happens. I just kind of have to get off trail and rest. Of course, high winds right when I'm talking this. Hopefully you can hear me. But yeah, that's what it was. Just achy and body not doing too good, cramps. I'm able to still eat and everything during it, which is good, because even if I couldn't, I'd have to force myself to, because I need those calories. But it ended up working out because there was a couple days of rain. I took 3 zeros, and there's a couple days of rain during that, so definitely helped out making my mind up, not pushing through. So you got to do that sometimes, and I took the rest needed. Not feeling 100% today, but feeling good enough to go on. And when I'm ready to stop today, I'll stop. But I'll probably go about 20 miles or so today, maybe 30. Who knows? Just gonna keep pushing and pushing. The miles might come pretty easy today because it's not much elevation for a lot of miles, so see what happens. But also, when I got into town, as I was taking a shower, I realized I had a tick in me, so I was able to get it out. It was not fully gorged. It was still red, which tells me that it was somewhat new. It wasn't, to the point of bursting or, those fluids going back into the body, which is when it could cause an infection. So I think I'm pretty safe as of right now. I'm going to definitely keep an eye on it, because symptoms can come, even up to 30 days after. So no rash as of right now. The achiness and the joints and the stomach and everything that was going on, that was all hit me before I had this tick bite. So unless I had another one that I didn't know about before, I think I'm pretty safe. But I'm still going to keep an eye on it just to make sure. But still, it's a little scary when you see a tick in you, because Lyme disease and the other types of encephalitis and different things that they could carry. You really want to keep an eye on that, because you don't want that sickness in your life, especially when you're hiking. So going to keep an eye on that, but back at it today. The zeros are over. The rest is over. Time to start racking up those miles again and get to that halfway point today. Doing good so far. Really good pace. So going to keep that going and see what the trail brings us today. So let's talk about raccoons. If you've seen the last video, you know that I had a spiritual awakening. Okay, a physical awakening, I guess. With some raccoons in a shelter where they were all just staring at me, watching me sleep, and I told them all to leave, and they all just turned around and left, like, okay, fortune doesn't want us here, I guess we'll go. One of the coolest animal moments I've ever had, and I've had some doozies, man, along my life, and especially the last year or so. And so it was pretty cool. I told you that story. It's really funny, but also weird at the same time. It's about to get weirder. So here I am at taking my 0 days, and in town there is a pizza place, New York style pizza. So I go in there, but not for pizza, because my stomach couldn't really handle pizza, but I got some spaghetti, or I was getting some spaghetti and a salad. And right next to my table is one of those crane machines where they have the stuffed animals, and you try to pick up the animals with the crane. And I never win at those. It's been a long time since I even tried it. You know, I would do it for my kids when they were younger, but you know, I didn't win too often for them. I just spent a lot of money for nothing. But anyway, I'm there ordering my spaghetti, and I look over, and guess what's right on top? Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 stuffed raccoon animals. The exact number of raccoons that was staring at me in the shelter a couple nights prior. I mean, what am I supposed to do at this point, you know? I have 4 raccoons here staring at me through a vending machine cage, glass, plexiglass, and I had 4 of them staring at me in the shelter the other night. So I'm like, all right, 50 cents, whatever, I'll try it. 50 cents goes in, crane moves this way, crane moves that way. I drop the crane, it picks one up and drops it. I win a raccoon on my first try. It's a sign. Must be my new spirit animal or something, I don't know. But with that sign and the raccoons the other night, I'm like, yep, you're my new guy. You're going with me on the trail. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you, his name is Dude, D-E-W-D. I am Fortune the Mountain Dude, and I realized, because I had my Mountain Dude shirt on when I was in town, that he was the exact colors of my shirt, and it seemed kind of obvious that his name should be Dude. Since I'm the Mountain Dude, he's just Dude. So, I introduce to you Dude, the raccoon, who now goes with me on the rest of the Thru-Hike. Tied in, harnessed in nice and tight so he can't fall out and get hurt. He's just along for the ride. So now, people that think I don't have friends, I have Dude, and I have In the Bag. In the Bag always has my back. So, In the Bag is special. And now Dude is along for the ride too. It makes me laugh, but at the same time, it's just so weird the way the raccoons have come into my life so much in the last couple days. But I thought you'd like to hear that story, so you're going to be seeing a lot of Dude for the rest of the Thru-Hike. All right, let's keep going. You know, if I didn't sweat so much, I wouldn't have to drink so much. And also, if I didn't pee so much, I wouldn't have to drink so much. Haven't shot a whole bunch of video yet today. Been cruising pretty good with a pretty good pace. And got quite a few miles underneath my belt already today. But as you can see, the trail's looking nice for the most part. Some rocky areas, some not, but nice gradual inclines. I think I've only had like 2 that were kind of steep, but they weren't steep for very long. But nice green, open areas at the top. A little bit of cloud cover and a little bit of sun. I think they call that partly sunny or partly cloudy. But just cruising along here. Hoping to get as many miles as I can in today, but I just looked at the map and I am only 11 miles from the halfway point. Whoa! That machine is flattening out a dirt road that I just crossed, making it nice and smooth. That's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen that. I think I've seen one of those machines before, but I don't think I've ever seen it being used. That's pretty cool how that works. I was watching it there for about a minute. They could use one of those on the trail sometimes. Flatten out those areas that are all rocky and... Okay, I'm joking. I'm not a big fan of rocks. We all know it. I have to make jokes about it. Dude is living his best life. Here's a decent view. Once again, one of those beautiful power line views. Looks nice, all these different colors going on in the weeds and everything, and the new growth, and the trees growing their greens on them. Oh, did I just say that right? Trees growing their greens. Yeah, I think I said that right. So I just came out of the forest here for a little bit into this open area. Seems to be a lot of the views right now are with power lines. But it's kind of flat, a little bit ups and downs, so not a whole lot of, way up top on cliffs and such, obviously. But pretty cool views. Looks like there's a little trail going up over there, but I'm not going to go on it. I'm going to keep going because it's starting to drizzle a little bit. Trying to beat the rain here today. It's a pretty cool cabin right here, but it's private and has to be rented through the PATC. So not like a shelter or anything for hikers. Look like a pretty nice cabin. Be able to come out on a weekend or something with the buddies. But not a whole lot of like mountains or anything to climb around here, just some hiking up and down little hills in the forest. So it's more like just a getaway into nature. Get away. Not the greatest of trails, I guess. Nothing wrong with the trails, don't get me wrong. But you know me, I like to climb the mountains, so it wouldn't be my cup of tea on a weekend with the buds, but looked like a pretty nice little cabin with a fire pit and everything. Some seats outside here in Pennsylvania. My legs are still a little achy from the flare up, so I'm not completely over it yet. And it's a different kind of ache. It's not from hiking or, sore legs from that. It's hard to explain. I just have a certain kind of ache that comes over my legs when I'm having those flare ups. So pushing through it, making really good time today. About 3 miles an hour. And I don't really feel like I'm moving all that fast, so it's just the trail itself. So making good time. Gonna keep on going. Probably stop here in, 5 miles or so. Get a little something to eat. And keep on going. See where I end up tonight. Slight terrain changes throughout the day so far. It's a little bit more pines and stuff here, a little bit darker of a type of forest. Trail still pretty much the same, maybe a little wider than it has been, but the pine needles are down, making it nice and soft and cushiony. A lot of roots, rocks here and there. Rain is still spitting. Just a little bit of a sprinkle, then the sun will pop out, then it'll sprinkle again. Hoping that it stops or doesn't get any worse, at least until I stop for the night. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice and dark in there. Beautiful. That reminds me of Oregon and Washington right there. Man, I haven't seen anything like this for quite some time. Deep, dark forest. Trail cutting right through it. I think it's like Unicoi Mountain. Maybe a little bit on Roan. Man, I can't really remember anything in Virginia like this, but there might have been. It's just beautiful. I miss this. These dark, deep pine, whatever kind of trees it is, forest. Love it. Has that certain kind of mystery and eeriness to it, especially with this drizzle right now. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Trying to think of the last time. Obviously it was in the Smokies, close to Klingman's and after Klingman's. And then Roan had some, and then Unicoi. That's how the whole summit looked. Oh yeah, that was the other one. Mount Rogers in Virginia at the very top. The summit looked like this. So it's been a while. I miss seeing this, that's for sure. Anytime there's a terrain change though, I'm loving that. Because it makes it feel like everything just resets and get something new to look at. Especially when you're not climbing mountains and and you're kind of dealing with some flat or small ups and downs. It's really nice to have terrain change, and there's always some kind of change, very subtle sometimes, but as long as you're paying attention and taking it all in, you always see it. There's always something beautiful going on. It's such a beautiful world, such beautiful nature, such beautiful trees and plants, especially in springtime. Well, fall is just as beautiful, just for a different reason, I guess. The animals, the rain, the sunshine, the fog, it's all beautiful. Got to just take it in. Don't rush through it. I mean, I hike long days. I put a lot of miles up on the board, so to speak. But I take it all in. Probably a lot more than most people do. Because it goes deep down into my soul. Every day, every moment. I'm so glad I could share this with you. It's glorious. It's one of those days where you can't figure out what to wear. Started off with my base layer and the t-shirt, and that was a little chilly, but then I started sweating pretty profusely and ended up taking the base layer off and just having the t-shirt on. And then it started drizzling, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just hold out for a minute here. I was starting to get chilly, but like, yeah, see what happens, because the sun kept popping out. And then it started drizzling a little harder. It was kind of a cold drizzle, so I put the rain jacket on. And then it stopped and became sunny, but I kept it on in case it started drizzling again, which sure enough it did. And then it stopped. And then the sun came out, and like you could see these up here, it looks like it became more sunny and less cloudy. And the gray clouds over there looked like they were moving off into the other direction, like more north. So, started getting warm, took the rain jacket off, the sun was coming out on me. And then, the sun went away. So now I'm chilly because it's windy, and the wind has a chill to it. But I'm just going to stay like this for a minute, because I don't know what the weather's going to do. Anyway, look at the terrain around here. Very flat and more open in this area. This is very Ohio, Michigan, New York, well, parts of New York, and obviously Pennsylvania, since that's where I am. But this is very reminiscent of what is in my mind when I think of those states. Kind of just flat ground, maybe some hills in the background, more like woods than forest. And I don't really know at what point the woods becomes a forest or a forest becomes a woods, but to me, it's just the amount of trees and the amount of openness. When it's like this, it just seems more like woods to me than it does forest, but it's still beautiful, still terrain change and beautiful colors, spring colors, not a lot of flowers, but just different types of plants and such, and that's growing and new growth and new birth and all that good stuff, but looking beautiful. I don't even know how many miles I'm in today, but quite a bit. It's been a while since I looked, but probably going to go about another 10 or so, and then we'll probably stop for the night. It's a little shelter slash, not shelter, hostel slash campground that's there where the general store does the half-gallon challenge. And that will be open in the morning, probably not open today when I get there. So I'll be doing the half-gallon challenge. And before then, I will be passing the halfway point, in which there will probably be another quarter-way dance. Ooh, I bet you can't wait to see what the halfway dance is. Don't even ask, because I don't know what it is either, because I can't dance. But I sure do try. On special occasions. From all the rain over the last couple days, water's running right down the trail in certain spots. Kind of the opposite of the dry dirt and dry ground that was in Northern Virginia and Maryland. It's kind of annoying at times though, because try to keep your feet dry, but some of it gets like an inch deep and you can't help but get wet, like right here. Kind of go to the side though when you can, but you don't want to get off trail too much. Staying to the side of it's one thing, getting off, it could cause erosion, so you want to stay on the trail as much as possible. But at the same time, don't want my feet to be soaked either. At least it's not the whole trail, just certain parts. So over here, it looks like some fire damage. Just a small area, but several trees burn up. And over here as well. Thing is, it must be pretty fresh, because I can still smell it. So it must have been pretty recently that they put it out or that it was on fire. So I can definitely still smell that. Not like it happened just last week, but definitely somewhat recently. It's sad when there's part of the forest that's been burnt, but it's also beautiful at the same time because of all the different colors, and then the rebirth around it. So I don't know, I'm just one of those weird ones. I can find beauty in everything, I guess. Alright, so continuing on, trying to figure out if there's going to be a sign at the halfway point. I passed a sign at 1097, which was the halfway point either last year or the year before, but it's not the halfway point now. But even that sign looked like it was from 5 years ago because you couldn't even read it. It was so faded from the sun getting bleached out. So I don't know, there might not be a sign at the halfway point saying it's a halfway point, which would be about 1099 point something, because it's 2198 point something this year is the halfway point, or I mean the total. So the halfway point would be 1099 point something. But I guess if there's no halfway point, then I celebrate at the 1100 mile marker, which would be just a little less than a mile after that. So one way or the other, I'm going to celebrate the halfway point. Hopefully it can be a dance. Hopefully it's an area that I can do a dance, or maybe I'll dance tomorrow when I do my ice cream for the half-gallon challenge to celebrate the halfway point. And the first half of the Appalachian Trail is in the bag. And for the first time on my Appalachian Trail Thru-Hike for osteoporosis, I have less miles to go than I've already went. 1,100 miles is in the bag. Nope, this is not a creek. This is the trail. It's been going on for about a half a mile here and a little descent. Just you end up doing a lot of rock, that's for sure. Still end up once in a while having a rock that's a little bit movable and end up splashing in the water, which really stinks because you're trying to keep your feet dry and everything. Oh well. Better than a drought. But it just runs straight down the trail, and every once in a while has a little runoff like here. And this is the first time that it's dry. That was like the fourth or fifth runoff, and it wasn't doing anything because it would come right back out and still, or I mean, after the runoff, it was still running down. So obviously because it's a descension and gravity's pulling it down and coming from different sources. But yeah, it's a little weird. Running right down the middle of the trail. I've seen it happen a lot of times on the Appalachian, but never quite that long. That just went on and on and on. And it's really hard to keep your feet dry after a couple days of rain, and flowing pretty good in some spots. I'd say, oh, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches deep in some spots. But I mean, obviously nothing treacherous or dangerous, just getting your feet wet sometimes if you don't really want to. I got a couple miles. Actually, I think it's more like 4 miles. Sorry, that came out weird. I stepped down right when I said 4 and it came out 4. But I think it's about 4 miles to where I'm going to stop for the night. So it's running off the trail, and off the trail, all those little side things that detoured the water came over here and all this, and then it runs into this, which, as you can see, is rushing pretty good for a little creek. Pretty high. I mean, not deep, but like high up on the banks. I think it normally stops like right here, it looks like. Definitely got some rain over the last couple of days. It's sprinkling now still, but here looks like it's dry again, where that just kind of ran off into that creek. Well, here's another halfway mile marker. This one definitely looks a lot better. However, it's wrong. I'm at a mile marker 11:02 right now. And you can see here, it's 1090.5. So I have no idea how long ago this was. Let's see. Oh, it says right here, April 9th, 2011. Let's see. I don't know why I'm not showing you that. Which means in 2011, that was the halfway point. So basically, 2081 was the mileage for the AT. It grows each year. They add a little bit on each year. It went from that to 2198 this year. But it's still a pretty cool memento. Already past the halfway point, but at least we have a little signage to go with it now.